Awesome. All right, guys, we're going to go ahead and get started. So, first and foremost, of course, welcome to TCI's End of Year Planning webinar. My name is Cassandra Elliott. I am a customer success representative here at TCI. Also on the call with me is Morris Tai. He's our head of product management. Before we get into everything, we do have a couple of housekeeping items to go over first. Number one, if you do have any questions, please make sure you use the Q&A feature on your Zoom, not the chat box or the raise your hand options. We will answer questions throughout the webinar and at the end as time allows. Secondly, this session is being recorded and we will send it out in an email once the webinar is over. So our plan for today, we're going to talk end of year wrap up and summer planning, any changes to your systems and users, supporting your new teachers or supporting your teachers for 2026 and 2027 with new features, including some AI, and then we'll end off with a Q&A. So let's go ahead and start with end of year wrap up and summer planning. First, we are going to cover our annual June 30th data reset and how to prepare for it. Then pausing syncs for districts and schools that auto roster and how that relates to teacher access over the summer. So first, our June 30th annual data reset. We do this every year for two big reasons. In addition to our commitment to data privacy, we also want to make sure that your teachers and students are ready for the upcoming school year with clean data. So what exactly is going to happen? First, all classroom-related content like assignments and grades will be deleted. All student accounts and student-created content will also be deleted. Because grades are deleted, if your district or school is doing summer school, your teachers will need to export all grade data by June 29th. Teachers have a way to do this on their grades page within their TCI account. What isn't affected by the June 30th reset is teacher-generated content like assessments and slideshows. Lastly, licenses that expire this year will be removed from your account. Morris, do we have any questions so far?
Nope.
Awesome. So let's talk about some key summer dates. First, a friendly reminder, we will be having our Back to School Summit on July 23rd. This event will feature hands-on training sessions, highlight practical teaching strategies, and more. I'll talk a little bit more about the summit at the end, but let's talk about some auto rostering and some key dates. If your district or school auto rosters via Clever or ClassLink, we will be pausing your roster sync on June 30th and resuming it again on August 2nd. So on June 30th, in addition to the data reset, we pause all roster syncs. So focusing in more on summer access, you will need to decide what you want to do with your sync over the summer if your school or district is auto rostering. Even though we pause all syncs by default on June 30th, you can opt out of this and keep your sync running for summer school. While the sync is paused over the summer, you will need to decide how access will be managed. If you would like to allow teachers to add programs to themselves, you will need to disable the setting that limits program access unless assigned by an admin. I will show you all where to find this setting in your account shortly. The second option is to keep your sync running for summer school. You should know, if you do keep your sync running for summer, we will only be able to roster users with assigned students. That basically means only summer school teachers will have access to TCI while the sync is running. So teachers not doing summer school who request access will either need to be excluded from your sync by an admin and then unexcluded by next school year, or just be denied the access. So knowing that, there are three things that you would need to do to keep your sync running for summer school. The first is to ensure your summer school data is shared with TCI via your roster app. Second, you will need to unschedule the roster sync pause. And third, you will need to review or update your program assignment rules in TCI or allow teachers to add programs and roster themselves. I'm going to demonstrate those last two steps in the TCI admin account next. But before I do that, I know there's been a lot of information. Morris, do we have any questions about pausing the sync or summer access?
There was a question around what may get unaffected during the June 30 reset, but I already answered that one. So I think we're good for now. And I'll let you know if there's more.
Fantastic. So let's go head into our admin dashboard now so we can take a look at those roster syncs. If you would like to keep your sync running during summer school, you can adjust the pause dates from the Manage Integrations page. On this page, you're going to look in your rostering box and you're going to look for where it says Scheduled Pause. You'll click this Edit button if you need to change your dates. If you would like your sync to run for the entire summer, you can click Unschedule down on the bottom to clear both dates. You can then hit Submit to save your changes, and then no further action is necessary. If you would like to start your sync before August 2nd, because your data will be ready, you can update the pause stop date to the date you wish to resume your sync. So you can make changes to both of these dates, either the pause start date or the pause stop date, from your TCI admin account. So if you're rostering during the summer, there's 3 things that you'll need. First is the summer school data to be shared with us via Clever or ClassLink. Second would be to go and unschedule this pause. And third would be to review your program assignment rules. So let's head there now. Here we go. On this page, you'll want to make sure that you have program assignment rules that will match your summer school data. If needed, you can create new rules by clicking on this green Add Rule button. The program assignment rule page is also where you can find the setting to allow teachers to add programs to themselves without admin intervention. Simply disable this toggle, and your teachers should be able to add programs to themselves the next time they sign in. So those will be your steps needed to complete your rostering or for your summer school data. Let's head back into the presentation to talk about any data changes you may have. You may have some changes you want to implement for the upcoming school year. A lot of this can be done by a TCI admin already. Very rarely will you need to contact TCI. Some things that can be handled by anyone with a TCI admin account are adding/removing admin and staff accounts. We do strongly recommend you review who is listed as an admin in your account each summer and to remove any users who no longer need access to TCI. An admin user can also make changes to your program access or program assignment rules. And lastly, any TCI admin can switch your rostering app from the Manage Integrations page in TCI. If you are changing your email domain, we do recommend that you reach out to us. In those instances, it's best if we review and help if needed. Let us know that you need help by sending an email to info@teachtci.com. And with that, I'm going to go ahead and pass the screen over to Moritz for our next section.
Thank you. We did have one question, Cassandra. It's about if our student data is already shared via Clever during the school year, do we need to do anything different for summer school? You want to answer that one?
Absolutely, that's a great question. You'll want to make sure that you unpause that roster sync so that way we can go ahead and have those most accurate class rosters for your summer school data.
Thank you.
Of course.
Okay, so I'm going to start talking about how you can support your teachers for the new school year. We'll cover TCI integrations. We've touched on that quite a bit so far, but I'll start from the beginning in terms of what we offer. And then I'll cover some new tools we provide for you in the admin dashboard. We'll go live and look at that. Then we'll look at the new grades experience that we released this past school year and give you some updates on some timeline information there. And finally, we'll end on new AI features. So that's going to be an exciting one. Firstly, let's talk about TCI integrations. We offer integrations for rostering, single sign-on, and the learning management systems. These are the integrations that you'll hopefully be familiar with in your district. For rostering, we offer support for Clever and OneRoster API. A common application used for that is ClassLink. Rostering is great. We have automated rostering integrations going for over 95% of our users. And so we've heard good feedback there. Setup is easy. Hopefully, you've already have one set up. And if you don't, we definitely recommend it. For single sign-on options, paired with rostering, this is a great combination. We offer Clever. You don't need additional setup. If you already are rostering with Clever, you don't need to do anything for single sign-on. It'll just work. For LTI and SAML, Both of those are basically links that you can set up that will open up our application and not require username and password in order to get from point A to point B. You can see there with LTI and SAML what some common applications used for each are. And we again recommend that. And then finally, the last option here is Google Single Sign-In. This one doesn't require admin setup, mostly because teachers can set that up individually for themselves from the teacher sign-in page on our website. Lastly, with LMS integrations, we support these big three platforms here. We do support other ones, but we like to highlight these just because they're the more popular ones and they have official support for assignment and grade sync integration. So we recommend definitely setting that up. It'll save your teachers some time related to syncing grades. And I'm going to stop here because we're going to switch over to a different topic. Are there any questions related to the integrations, Cassandra?
There's a really great question. Can we pair rostering with Clever and LMS with Schoology?
Yeah. Yeah, we have many districts that have that set up. This is kind of a pick and choose situation. So you can use anything for rostering and for your integrations with LMS, you can use any of those platforms. The only thing that is important that either you already are familiar with or you can work with our team to figure out are what are some of the identifiers for the users that need to be present in TCI from rostering and present in your LMS in order for that connection to happen. Typically, you'll want to pair LTI with the LMS platform so that let's say you're using Schoology, you'll want to have the user, teacher, or student clicking on the launch link in Schoology and it's going to leverage LTI to single sign them into TCI, and their accounts will exist because you used Clever or OneRoster for rostering into TCI already. Anything else?
Nope, that was it.
Okay, cool. We'll take more questions later. So for the new admin dashboard tools, we have two that we're going to highlight. We've been continuously doing improvements, but these are two that I want to highlight because they're hopefully going to make your back to school or summer setup a lot smoother. The first one is related to sync errors. So these are referring to roster syncs and how to manage those. And the second one is related to, higher security setting in case you want to apply that. So let's go live and check it out. Firstly, hopefully this dashboard is familiar to you. If you go into manage integrations, this is typically where you'll see most of your roster integration information. If you run a sync, one thing that we've done is we'll show you with with a dot anywhere you are in the dashboard to let you know like a sync is running in case it takes longer than just a few minutes. The main thing I want to show you is I have set up a few different situations here in the roster sync results. And the one that's really different is again, there's a yellow and a red indicator. The red one implies that there are actionable high priority errors that you should pay attention to. So the one that I have set up here, they're related to not having enough licenses. So in this tab, these classrooms could not get created from my test data because there aren't enough licenses. And you would need to either modify your program assignment rules or change the number of licenses you're using. You could purchase more. And if you do that, then ideally the next time a sync runs, you don't have those errors anymore. And so hopefully this will raise the visibility of the errors that are happening and whether or not they're actionable high priority ones versus ones that you might be aware of and you're kind of okay with those errors happening every day. Um, but yeah, before I get into the security one, I want to check if there are any questions so far from the information I covered. Cassandra, anything?
Nothing about the admin dashboard tools.
Okay, cool. I'm going to move on to the new setting we have that's related to security. So if you go back to the admin dashboard, your main landing page, you'll see a new setting down here that you can toggle on and off related to a stricter password policy, and you have some information about what that is in the info bubble here. The nice thing about this is that you can apply it per user type. Typically, you probably, if you do decide to use this, you will apply it to an admin or some sort of role that has more uh, security that you want to apply. Here, just for demo reasons, I have it applied to coordinators. And so what's going to happen if you apply this? While you have it applied, anywhere the password is set for that user, whether it's done by them, done by you, if it's done manually, then anywhere you're trying to do that, there will be instant feedback for the higher policy, which is a bit stronger than what you have by default. One thing I want to make sure everyone knows if they do decide to use this is any user type you turn this setting on for, they will have to reset their password after their first successful login, just so that their new password is meeting the criteria that is set. So that's something to note. Again, it's an optional feature. You don't have to use it. We felt that it's a useful one to have for some districts, so use it if you'd like. With that, I'm at the end of this one. Are there any questions before I move on?
No questions so far.
Okay, so the new grades experience. This is a feature that we released in February, and it's been available for your teachers to opt into since then. And we've had a good turnout so far. What I wanted to communicate is, again, this is for supporting your teachers. I want everyone to know that this feature was released, what's going to happen going forward, where to get more information. So basically, we made some updates to the grade book for the teacher and for the student so that if you opt into this experience, the grade book is essentially going to be assignments based and it's going to line up much better with a learning management system. So we do recommend using this. Something to note is that if we do create new features going forward related to grading, very likely it's going to come to the new grades experience first, if not only that new grades experience. So we definitely recommend people trying it out, getting into that experience and using it. Uh, but we do care and we understand that transition can be difficult related to grading, and we love getting feedback. So the classic grading, which is what we're calling the older experience, it'll still be available until 2028. We are planning at the end of the next school year, so that would be June 30, 2027 to opt in everybody, and then still let you opt out until 2028 to use the classic rating. So a longer transition period because we understand it's a high impact area. We do in our help center have a page that is focused directly on the new grades experience, and it has a nice section that tells you answers to some frequently asked questions, including what's new and what's different. So definitely check out that resource if you haven't already. Any questions before I move on to the next topic?
No questions so far. I did drop that FAQ link for everybody in the chat box as well.
Awesome, thank you. Okay, AI. So my favorite topic. The first slide here is just, this is the first time we're really diving into AI, talking about it. So I wanted to make it clear what TCI's approach to AI is. And one easy way to remember this is we did create the marketing team, very clever, created an acronym for PAST. And it stands for purpose, access control, safety, and transparency. These, you can think of them as kind of the pillars of how we approach AI. For purpose, we build our AI features in a thoughtful way. They're designed to save educators time and improve student outcomes. That's specifically what they're for, and that's what their purpose is. We will always focus on access control being there for you. So TCI provides district and teacher level control to opt into features that display AI generated content. And I'm gonna revisit that in another slide. Safety. TCI does not use teacher or student data to train AI models. Never have, never will. That's something that we really stand by. And for transparency, similar to us bringing this to you right now, we do support labeling and opting in for AI generated content. We're always transparent and we always try to be around everything related to AI. And all of it is going to be grounded in TCI's professionally created and standards aligned materials. So you can at least rest assured that anything that we're using AI with is grounded in our content, which is already, following many, many guardrails. Now, if you have any questions or a vetting process related to AI that's coming along the way, definitely reach out to info@teachtci.com. We'd love to get involved and make sure that, we're headed along in this journey together. Now, what features are we talking about? So these features will be available in back to school, but like I mentioned, it will require administrator opt-in, and I'm going to talk about that in the next slide. But the two features that we're focused on for this back to school for AI are leveled reading options and question builder. So with the leveled reading options, we're going to provide more reading level options to access and engage with the text while the context is grounded in our standards-based reviewed content, just like I mentioned earlier in transparency. And essentially, the teacher will be able to review and assign new reading levels so that it better meets the needs of the students. Um, and you'll get more information, especially if you get involved early on. Now, with the question builder, this is going to allow modifying and generating assessment questions with AI helping you directly within TCI. This is going to help teachers save time, support their differentiation of the content, and also create questions aligned to standards, which again will be a great foundation for the standards-based learning that we're going to continue building upon. So both of these features, very exciting to use AI and very hopefully great value for the teachers. Now, when are they going to have it and what control do you have? Districts need to opt in. So we understand there's a vetting process. We understand that there's going to be laws and rules and questions. We're treading carefully here, and we want district level opt-in required for any of these features. You'll be able to turn on them individually, and teachers will not be able to use them unless an administrator has opted in for the organization for your district. Right now, we are going to take interest in the closed beta that will run over the summer. It will start the closed beta itself sometime in May, and it'll roll out when the features are ready. But if you sign up for interest, you'll be able to let us know that, and we'll reach out and get it, moving along. If you don't have, if you can't remember the link now, that's okay. When you log into the admin dashboard after this webinar, you'll also see the link available at the top of the page. So you don't have to, focus too much right now on it. Um, when the back to school begins in August, then the open beta will begin. What this means is that you don't need to reach out to us in order to turn on the feature for your district yourself. And that's again going to be in August. But even then, teachers will not be able to use the AI features unless an administrator explicitly opts in. So that is important for us. Any questions so far before I move on?
No questions.
Okay, great. In that case, I'm going to give it back to you, Cassandra, to wrap up.
Awesome. Morris, I do think we just got one question here in the chat box. Do you have any written information about the AI features that I can take to our assistant superintendent?
Yes, that's a great question. We are finalizing what that information is going to be. We'll have something publicly available and also something that you can ask for. So if you could reach out to info@teachtci.com with what you're looking for, we'll definitely be able to send something back to you. Anything else?
There's one more. If we have a trainer coming in July to train teachers on AI features, do we have to opt in to closed beta?
That is right. If you want to use the AI features in TCI, you would need to opt into the closed beta. What you'll want to work out at that point is the communication strategy with your district in terms of who should even be using it. If it's only the trainer, if it's only the people being trained, is it everybody? But all of those are going to be good questions to work through, and we'd be happy to work through with them with you.
Awesome. Thank you,
When does
Morris.
the interest form for the closed beta close? Um, Indefinite. We're planning to keep it open indefinitely. Essentially, you can bet that it'll be open at the latest um, through June. July is an interesting month just because, is there a lot of benefit to starting brand new, getting things rolling, and then all of a sudden it's out in August. So you can at least assume it'll be open through June. All right, I think we caught up for now, and then we have time at the end for more questions. So I'll give it back to you.
Perfect. Let's go ahead and wrap up the presentation itself. Before we start that Q&A, I did want to briefly mention another resource that's available for your teachers with our in-app professional development courses. These courses are available to all TCI users and can be found at the top of the navigation bar under the professional development section. Teachers can complete these courses at their own pace and download a certificate and badge once it's completed. I definitely recommend that they look into these courses. There's a lot of good topics in there, especially regarding LMS integrations, how to assign work. Those are some really great topics your teachers may be curious about with this new grades feature. I do also want to mention again our Back to School Summit. This is going to take place on Thursday, July 23rd. This event will feature hands-on training sessions, best practices for cultivating an engaged classroom, practical teaching strategies, new product features, and more. Teachers will learn a 3-hour professional development certificate for attending this event. You and your teachers are welcome to sign up for this event for free using the link on the slide, and more should be dropping that in the chat box as well for us soon. All right, and our last topic of today is our resources. We do have lots of resources available to help support you and your teachers. We have our renewals and support pages, including our onboarding to get started with TCI. If you need support with rostering, that's a great place to look. You have our product update page where we post new updates. Of course, we have our help center, and you can always contact us at info@teachtci.com. The last thing that I do want to give you is our Calendly link for our customer success teams. You can use this link to book a meeting with one of our team members for support with onboarding your users. These meetings are offered year-round and can be booked up to 90 days in advance. For the best support, we do recommend having your tech contact and your curriculum contact join the meeting so we can review your data, your users, and your program assignment rules. And with that, we'll go ahead and move over into our Q&A. Awesome. Do we have any other questions?
I think for now we're just waiting for them to come in and oh, someone asked about the Calendly link. Can you describe again what is in that link?
Absolutely. So this link will allow you to book a meeting with one of our customer success teammates. We would be able to help you with your integration questions regarding rostering. If you need to set up an LMS, we can also help you with that. We do recommend it's best if you have your tech person and your curriculum person. That way we can go ahead and make sure everybody has the access that they need. Any other questions for today's webinar?
No, I think everyone is feeling good.
All right, awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for coming out and joining us. As a reminder, the session was recorded and we will go ahead and send it out in an email after the conclusion. Thanks again for coming out. We really appreciate it. Hope to see you at back to school.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye,
Bye-bye.
everybody.